We are at 365 Sports. We love you to death. We know that. And what a weekend, Wren. I've watched some of your timeline on Twitter. Can you explain the anticipation, the passion, the atmosphere, the views right now on your campus?
Well, college game days are special in every location, but the Big 12 has just a collection of some great college towns, and I would put Morgantown at the top of that list. Our state. There are no pro teams. We're the only power conference team in the state. And so everybody follows the Mountaineers intensely. And that passion is there all the time. But we, coming off a year like we had last year where, we won 9 games, we won a bowl game. There's a lot of anticipation. And then kicking off with Penn State, who's ranked in the top 10. And then, Fox coming in here to do the game with their big noon show, and then the McAfee announcement just kind of put it over the edge. So the traffic is going to be incredible. The attendance will be incredible. The energy incredible. Hopefully the businesses will make a lot of money. The weather will stay nice, and the Mountaineers will get a win.
So when you took this job, and you have been around Missouri, North Texas, so you've been around college athletics, was this one of the reasons why you took a place like West Virginia on and wanted to experience what you are right now this weekend, and hopefully for West Virginia and the Mountaineers and Neal Brown and everyone else for the rest of the school year?
Yeah, it is. I knew I'd never been to Morgantown. I'd only been in the state one time. And so really my knowledge of West Virginia started for the most part with them coming into the Big 12, and only then knew what I'd seen on TV with game days and stuff. But I actually talked to Mac Rhodes about it, Joe Castiglione, several ADs I have friends with who had traveled here and just spoke so highly of it. And when I was interviewing for the job, they told me how much it means to the people here. And you work at a lot of universities, and I always feel like every time you go to a new place, and this is my 6th, everybody tells you how unique their place is. And I've always felt like, there's some uniqueness to each place, but more or less you change logos on your polo shirt, but the job is kind of pretty much the same. But it is different here in that this is the first place I've worked where there really is no competition. We have the strongest market share. I think the only 2 places that are really similar would be Arkansas and Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Just everybody, their hopes and dreams and morale are intertwined with this team. And so as I tell our student athletes and even recruits, it's a great privilege. It's also a great responsibility. But it's awesome to see the energy that comes with it. They announced last night that all of the county public schools are not going to have school on Friday because of the anticipated traffic and trying to get those kids home to school and home after school. And so that just tells you kind of the volume of people that are coming in for this game. I suspect we'll have 10, 15, 20,000 people in the parking lot that day that don't actually have tickets to the game, but just want to be a part of the atmosphere. Well,
so you have an alum, a guy that has exploded nationally in recent years, the broadcast and his show with Pat McAfee, who's a part of Game Day. The relationship with him in West Virginia, how important is that for it to get better? And is this part of that where you're reaching out and he's reaching out to try to get him on campus tomorrow for what will be a monstrous event?
Yeah. So, for a few years, I think not just Pat, but several of his teammates and friends maybe that were on the team, they didn't feel as appreciated and welcome back. And I don't know all the reasons for that because I know Mountaineer Nation and our staff here in the athletic department love that era. I mean, when you talk about Pat White and Steve Slayton and Owen Schmidt and those are names that just, during that era those were incredible teams. And I actually was a big fan of those teams back then, even in the way they played, even though I didn't know much about West Virginia. And so I think, just Neal, Coach Brown's done a really good job of trying to welcome those guys and being engaged. One of the first outreaches I made when I got the job was to some of our foreign players, and Pat was certainly one of the top of that list. But I tell you, another big help is Blaine Stewart's on our staff, and his father, Bill Stewart, was a coach here, recruiting coached some of these guys. And Coach Stewart passed away a few years ago, but they have such admiration and respect for him. And Blaine was almost like a kid brother to him. And Blaine's done a great job of being a conduit to get those guys back and make them feel welcome. And so that's been a process. But one thing that Pat McAfee's never shied away from is how much he loves Morgantown, how much he loves West Virginia, and how much the program meant to him. And so I told him multiple times, I told him in the last few days, his unapologetic love and unbridled passion for his alma mater, that's worth so much earned media for us because of the demographic that watches his show religiously. And so we're very appreciative of that, and we're excited about the energy that him coming here brings to campus.
Well, he shut that. You mentioned the schools, the county schools. Is school in session tomorrow, or is that also something that they're worried about, the congestion on campus?
It is in session right now. When I tweeted something about the public schools being canceled, and everybody started coming at me to cancel WU, I don't have that power, so I passed that hot potato very quickly onto my bow-tied friend, Dr. Gordon Gee, who's the president. So he has not indicated that he's going to cancel classes, but if he does, he can be a hero. I told him, I said, you can prove that not all heroes wear capes, some wear bow ties. So we'll see what he does.
So obviously at this time last year, there was the unknown, Wren, because of the team the year before, and everyone, and Neal, man, at Big 12 Media Days in July up in Arlington, had the biggest chip I've ever seen in a coach. And a lot of times coach make that up, but he was mad and he was frustrated and he was also hurt as the program. And then they had the year. And now the expectations are what West Virginia football is supposed to be. How much of a transformation have you seen with the program, the momentum? And from the time you arrived, when you took over, it was kind of up in the air, and now where they are now?
Yeah, Coach Brown's done a great job of keeping that group of young men focused on what's important and rallied around proving people wrong. And, that was hard last year because there had been so much negativity in and around the coverage of the program. And he felt like we had a pretty good chance to be competitive last year. And when those preseason publications come out and you're picked last, and that's when you take 4 new teams into the league, and 4 of them coming from a group of 5, and you're picked last, it was just another thing that kind of stirred everybody up and was negative. And so I think for a lot of reasons, that he and I were both surprised and not real pleased, but you have to go out and prove people wrong, and that's the great thing about sports is it's not what people expect of you, it's not what people predict of you. There's a metric out there on that scoreboard every Saturday. You got to go out and prove it, and he did a really, really good job of using that as motivation for the team, but also breathing confidence in them, helping them come together. And that's continued, and that momentum's continued. And I always say momentum is the most powerful thing in sports, but it's also the most fragile, right?
Yeah,
and
yep.
so, you're fighting to keep that every day, and confidence when you have that, it's such a powerful thing. But when you lose it, it also it becomes something that can take you the other way. So he does a great job of keeping them grounded, not letting them get too high or too low, reminding them how they got here, the chip on their shoulder, working hard. But it is awesome to see the fan base rally. Somebody asked me the other day, does the momentum from last season, has that brought out the fans? And I said, the fans are with us.
Yep.
I always say we have 1.8 million people. We got 1.6 million hanging on every possession. I mean, they're watching it in Southern West Virginia, even if they hadn't been a game in a decade. They're tuned in and watching. But what it does, it compels people to come out, and that excitement and enthusiasm has definitely been very, very helpful.
Last thing, Wren Baker, Director of Athletics at West Virginia, Penn State, West Virginia, Saturday. What a moment and what a game. And it's a football game. But do you think at some point during that game, while you're up in the suite or press box or on the field that you'll be able to kind of like look out towards what's going on, and especially if it's a good win, a great game and a nice win. But will you have time to look out, take a deep breath, take it all in, and enjoy?
I will. So I'll walk the tailgates a little bit on Saturday. I probably won't go into the blue light. They're probably they probably pregame a little hard for my taste. But I'll go out to the tailgate some. But I definitely a lot of times. So we have something here we call the man trip, and we let our student athletes off by the Children's Hospital, and thousands of fans congregate and welcome them into the stadium and line up there. And the kids up in the Children's Hospital can watch from their windows.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. And so I usually, that's one of those moments that I always take in. I'll go and at the top of the stadium, I kind of greet the kids, our student athletes, as they walk in, but I also just watch that mayhem that unfolds during that. And then last year, we had a game a lot like this with Pitt in the backyard brawl, first time we'd had on our campus, and it was a Saturday night game, and we opened the tailgate lots. And there's one RV lot that opens Friday morning, and I'll never forget this. On Thursday night, I got a call, and the highway patrol needed us to start letting people in because we were blocking the interstate exit, which is about 2 miles from the Coliseum. Which is one of our RV lots, and they were like, "Hey, you're creating an issue here," so we had to open the lot 12 hours early. And so it just, those are moments where you realize, okay, this is a little different. This is a statewide entertainment engagement. I mean, we'll be the largest city in the state, and Milan Puskar Stadium will be on Saturday. So, that you think about the magnitude of that. And it's pretty special, and I do try and take a moment or two to take it in. And if we're fortunate to come out victorious, I always love and appreciate singing Country Roads after a win, but that one will probably be one of the more memorable ones.
Absolutely. Wren, thank you so much. Appreciate our friendship, and also the fact that we've worked together. Watch what you've done. Enjoy the moment. McAfee back on campus is huge, and that's great that you're healing some of that, because that happens at a lot of campuses that people may not realize with former athletes as there are coaching transitions. Congratulations, but I know you want me to say that to you after Saturday's game too. Thanks for your time, and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck to everybody in the Big 12.
Wren Baker, Director of Athletics at West Virginia 365 Sports.